Hey everybody, Luke here! We've got 2,500 points of vampire counts and high elves, and I was stoked for this game, let me tell you, just stoked. Vampire counts are my first army, high elves are my buddy's first army since he came back to the game. Now we've both got new books. I wanted to be balanced, baby. I'm so excited for this. I'm really worried because the high elves look pretty strong to me, but, you know, I bring some cheap stuff to the table too, so we'll see how it goes. Super excited. So here's what we got. We got an eagle, a frost phoenix, group of reavers. Second group of reavers down there already vanguarded in this picture. 2 repeater bolt throwers on the hill. A group of Sisters of Avalorn, the handmaiden in there, so she gets multi-shots, higher strength, and gives them quick to fire. Then he's got a lion chariot. He's got silver helms and a mounted BSB in there. A second eagle in front. Then a big group of Phoenix Guard with a level 2 and a level 4, both on high magic. Now my opponent, my good friend Ivor, was saying, I'm done. This is it. This is the last time I'm running high magic. I don't think it's a good lore. This is the last time I'm going to try it. We'll see what it does. It has to wow me to keep it, so we'll see if it wows him. Then he has a group of archers in the building. So here's my filth. 40 zombies. Black Knight bust, baby. 12 Black Knights, and I've got a level 2 vamp in there and a level 4 vamp. The level 2 is rocking the Lore of Death. He's got the Night Shroud on him and the Luck Stone, so he has Always Strike Last, Aura on him, and he's given out no strength bonuses from weapons. He also has Beguile, so you have to pass a -3 leadership or reroll your successful hits against him. And he's rocking the Aura of Dark Majesty, so the -1 to your leadership around you. My Vamp Lord has got Red Fury and Quick Blood, a 4-up ward save, the other Trickster Shard, and the Dispel Scroll. Now the reason I could afford that on him is because I took lances on both my dudes. No magic weapons. For one, I'm scared of Arcane Unforging. I think he's going to blow up my lance, and that's 40 points. Or he's going to blow up my Ogre Blade. That's 40 points. Plus, these guys are high elves. I only need Strength 5 to wound on 2s, so let's do it. And I'm using those extra points, and I'm loving it. He's obviously on the Lore of Vampires, and I think that's all to say about him. Oh, he has, Red Fury and Quick Blood. And Beguile as well, so you have to make a total of a -4 or re-roll against him. Spirit Host in the Woods. Got 2 Terrorgeists, delicious. 37 Ghouls in Horde formation. Double group of dogs over here, and another Spirit Host. Then Hex Wraiths out front. Now I thought Hex Wraiths would be awesome, especially against elves. Fly through them, keep them with a highly mobile Vampire Lord so they can march. And then as soon as I deploy him, I realize, oh, son of a bitch, he's got Sisters of Avalorn. And there really wasn't a way to hold them back. Like, yeah, they're just going to get shot. That's just what's going to happen. But I think Hex Wraiths might have been better, or I'm sorry, Vargheist might have been better, but they're also just going to get shot. Yeah, not much I can do about it. So here's deployment. You can see he's heavily weighted on the right side. He started deploying first. We had equal number of drops, and he just out-deployed me. All my chaff got me bottled up. I put all the dogs down, the Spirit Host down. It was because of the 2 forests on my side that I was like, oh man, I'm kind of stuck. I should have probably thought about tightening up a little more, but I kind of got stuck, and now I have to kind of move to him. So about halfway through, I decided, you know, we're going to put the knights on the right side of the forest. They'll run around. They got the Banner of Swiftness. They'll make it. So that's what I'm thinking. But he definitely outdeployed me. All right, here we go. Elves turn 1. Eagle charges into the dogs. His Phoenix moves over to kind of rejoin the rest of the ranks. She was using it as chaff. Off screen here, you can see where the arrow is. His Reavers move right in front of the Terrorgeist to stare at its face and try to march block. His other troops move up, surprisingly. He's not castling, which is fantastic. I'm very happy. He doesn't need to. My god, those blocks are huge. So we'll see what happens. During Magic, it's only 4 dice to 2, so not a bad phase. But he throws 4 dice at Fiery Convocation and uses the Book of Hoth to make it a really high cast. And I'm thinking, oh man. If he casts it on the ghouls there, by the way. If he gets it off the ghouls, he's going to kill like half of them. And it's still going to be on me. And I'm going to have to spell it on my turn. And I got stuff to be doing in my turn. And so I think, you know what? I got to throw the Dispel Scroll. I need those guys to be a wall that he can't get through. So it's turn 1, I blow the Dispel Scroll, but you know what? I think it was the right call here. So, the Dispel Scroll was on the Vampire Lord, by the way. So no little Necro running around here to help out. Then during shooting, his archers blow up with that group of dogs you can see there. By the way, I'm not using the tool to draw on the screen this time. I really like it, but the video quality that it outputs is so flippin' terrible that I'm just going to try to maybe go back and forth. I'm really hounding the company to put out better video quality, but we'll see. Anyway, back to the game. The Sisters of Avalorn shoot the Hex Wraiths and blow them up, just as you would expect. And during shooting, the Reaver's sitting right in front of the Terrorgeist an inch away, believe it or not, roll a 6 and wound him. That was unbelievable. But the luck goes back to my side as the 2 repeater bolt throwers both miss, which is fantastic. During close combat, Eagle passes fear and does 1 wound. I don't do any. I should crumble by 2, but the BSB is nearby, so I only crumble by 1. All right, baby. Vampires, turn 1. So I try to charge the Reavers with the Terrorgeist and hope to fear them away, and they stick. But that's okay. So then I was going to fly my other Terrorgeist up and over to start screaming at maybe the other Reavers, or see who I can maybe scream. You know, actually right there, those sisters, I can maybe scream and panic them. And believe it or not, his plan worked. I was in Inspiring Presence, and I rolled poorly and got March blocked. And I was not in with the BSB. I was like an inch out. It was, I couldn't believe those little dinky Reavers have the balls to run up to a Terrorgeist and shoot it. And then March blocked my other one. It was beautiful. So everyone else just moves up, as you can see here. Vampire and his bus goes cruising, clips the woods. My Vampire Lord takes dangerous terrain, fails it. And he's the only one that fails it. And he fails his 4-up ward save. It was like unbelievable. This game's starting out good. So then my Spirit Host races up in the middle, and I start trying to chaff up my dogs there in front of the ghouls, as you can see. The Spirit Host, Spirit Host and dog, they're moving up as much as they can, but they can't really march or anything. During Magic, it's 6 dice to 4. I throw 3 dice at Spirit Leech on his Phoenix. So that'll be Leadership 10 versus 8, or I think it's 9 on the Phoenix. And he dispels it exactly with the book, using all of his dice. And unfortunately, then I failed to cast Van Hell's boosted with 3 die. So that would have been nice. It would allow me to just shore up the lines. I think I was even going to clip that Terrorgeist. I can't quite remember or judge it from this picture. But anyway, I wanted it, didn't get it off. And probably should have with 3 die. During shooting, it takes both Terrorgeists to kill the Reavers, actually. So maybe it was better that I got March block there. I don't know. They probably could have done some wounds on him in close combat that I would not have liked. You know, I don't know why, but it says that Terrorgeist is sitting on 2 wounds now. Yeah, honestly, I don't remember why he got a 2nd wound. Alright. The Silverhelms, it goes to High Elves turn 2. The Silverhelms charge into the flank of the dogs, and they're going to try to overrun into the ghouls. I'm okay with that. Let's charge them up. I'll swing around, baby. During other movement, the Reavers move to block the vampires. It's perfect. He's got just enough movement. He can just move right in front of me and turn so that if I want to get rid of him, I got to charge. And then it's that stupid rule in Warhammer where you have to charge the front. By the way, I really wish they'd get rid of that in 9th edition. I like movement blocking and using movement, but something like that where you've got a bus and you'd literally go a foot forward, but instead you're going to wheel all around to hit him in the front. I think that should go away. I think it's just kind of a janky use of the rules. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. He successfully blocks me very well. Then his Phoenix flies over again to rejoin the lines. Get ready. His Chariot backs up there. And at the lower part down there, his Eagle flies over, doesn't charge anyone, but gets ready to kind of mess around. And his Phoenix Guard move up a little bit. During Magic, it's only 4 dice to 2 again. He's got a bad Magic phase again. He throws 3 dice at an Arcane Unforging on my Lord, and he rolls super high with the book. Like, I got 2 dice. There's no way I'm going to get it. So I have to let it go. So he wounds on the armor save. Like, he wounds on the wound part. And the way it is, and I didn't know this, it's whatever your armor save is, that's basically, it's that up to wound you. So I had a 1-up, so it was, a 1-up wound. So I take a wound, and we roll randomly, and God, he destroys my Talisman of Preservation. So no 4-up ward. No ward at all for my Vampire Lord. That's freaking freaky. That's something nice to get out of 3 die. So I'm worried now. Like I said, I'm terrified of that spell. I hate it. Then he tries to cast Walk Between Worlds on his Phoenix Guard to get him up moving 10 inches, and I dispel it. During shooting, the sisters shoot at the Terrorgeist and land 3 wounds on it, believe it or not, from there. It's like, holy crap, those chicks are like bazookas. The Repeater Bolt Thrower, the first one takes aim and puts 3 more wounds on the D3 on the Terrorgeist and blows it up completely. So the one that's white there, the zombie dragon, is dead. And the other Repeater Bolt Thrower only puts 1 wound on the Terrorgeist. So, I mean, I guess that's lucky there. The Reavers end up shooting 1 ghoul, and that's it for shooting. During close combat, the dog explodes, and he overruns into the ghouls like you would expect. And off-screen, the dogs tied the Eagle again, and it's a push. All right, we go to Vampires turn 2. started off with the Terrorgeist charging the Reavers that were march blocking my Black Knight boss. I want to terror them away. I don't have really much place I want to put the Terrorgeist right now, so I'm fine with him just failing a charge or getting in there and just being kind of protected. I also charge the Black Knights in, which is good because the Terrorgeist failed his charge and only goes a little bit. My opponent let me go back and redo a combat reform after the push between the dogs and the eagle on the upper left there, just so I could get the zombies in. That was very kind of him. I meant to do it and forgot. So that's it for charges. Similarly, the Spirit Host in the middle, this is after combat. My opponent let me take the movement I was obviously going to take with them. We'd even gone through the units, and I said where I was going to move them, and I just forgot to move them. So in this picture, this is after combat, as you can tell, but movement-wise, the two Spirit Hosts are going to move up. And here's a picture of where the Spirit Host ends up going. Again, after combat, my buddy was being a real good sport about it, so I appreciate that. We go to Magic phase, and it's 12 dice to 7, so I've got a banger of a phase here, baby. So the angle's off a little here. He was march blocking me, but because of the way of where my Spirit Host was in the beginning, he had to close the door to me, which meant that I could see the Sisters of Avalorn where we ended up. So they have basically line of sight toward that edge of the board. So I shoot Gaze and Nagash at them, 4 dicing it, and he draws the Dispel Scroll. So that's pretty good. Dispel Scroll's gone. I would have liked to blow them away, but yeah, what are you going to do? You got to deal with it at some point. So now I only have a 1 die advantage. It's 8 to 7 now. I throw 4 dice at Bubble, Van Hell's Dance Macabre. Want to move all guys around, and he throws 4 dice and dispels it irresistibly. And then I get 2 dice Hellish Vigor off, but he dispels it. My last 4 dice, I throw out Invocation of Nehek. On 4 die, it goes off, healing the Terrorgeist once, and heals my Lord from the dangerous terrain he had with the Vamp ability. And then they add something like 10 zombies or 14 zombies or something crazy. And then it now actually heals back a bunch of the dogs, which is why there's not 3 dogs there, but there's now 4 or 5. In close combat, as you can see, the zombies and the dogs broke the eagle, and the zombies overran like 9 to catch it. The wolves got kind of stuck where they were. In close combat with the Vampire Lord, I just paste the Reavers and reform the middle. And the ghouls, after crumbling, take like 21. It's crazy. There's just so many dead ghouls. They just got owned. But but they held, which is good. They're still there. They're not fully crumbled. And even though I can't really heal them or anything, I need them to hold one more time. We'll see what happens. All right, High Elf turn 3. His Chariot and Phoenix both try to charge my Black Knights, and the Phoenix fails. Believe it or not, it was like it needed nothing, and it rolled like a 3 on Swift Stride. And his Phoenix Guard go into my Spirit Host, which you can kind of see is buried there in the picture. His Eagle moves in front to block, doing that stupid block thing again, which is brilliant. And his Phoenix Guard move in front. I guess I listed that twice. His Phoenix Guard, had already charged the Spirit Host there. And then his sisters scoot a little bit, so they get optimal shooting. During Magic, it's 5 dice to 3. He throws 4 dice at Fiery Convocation on the zombies, because it's literally the only thing he can see after charging. And he fails to cast it. And then Hand of Glory also fails to cast, trying to raise the weapon skill of the Knights, the Silverhelms. So, I didn't have to do anything. During shooting, the sisters put 3 wounds on the Terrorgeist, and I'm like, uh-oh, now I'm up to 4. 4 now. I had 1 on me because of thanks to my healing last phase, but I'm at 4. Repeater Bolt Thrower 1 takes aim, lands 1 wound. Repeater Bolt Thrower takes aim, only have 1 wound left, and it misses. Actually, I think it failed to wound, so that was awesome. So Terrorgeist is really hurting, but he's got 1 wound left, which means it's not all lost. In close combat, I land 1 wound on a Phoenix Guard, but that poofs it with the charge and crumble. And 11 more ghouls die, but that's way less than before. And that includes combat res. I forget the actual number he did, so that's really good for me. I mean, those guys did not have the strength. They have strength 3 now versus toughness 4, so that really helped. Now they're going to hold, and I'm going to be able to hopefully come in and help them. And this is just a picture of the end of High Elf turn. All right, so because last turn with the Silverhelms, I made way with my characters. Yeah, I think it was with the Silverhelms. No, I'm sorry, it's with the Reaver combat. I had made way. My dudes were actually, my 2 vampires were actually not blocked by that eagle, which is fantastic because Even though the Black Knights can't charge, my vampires can. So out they go, both rip-roaring and screaming. Now, they're actually 2 units now, and that comes into play here quite a bit. So just bear that in mind. They're not their own unit. They're 2 individual characters slamming in the flank. What else happens? The Terrorgeist goes into the rear of the Eagle there, who was march blocking. He did not fail his terror test, but now we're going to get combat there. And my Black Knights do a little... oh, that's right. They tried to do a swift reform and failed, so they just reformed a little bit and stick there. It was unbelievable. And my Spirit Host on the right goes flying into the flank of the Phoenix Guard, because if I can tie him up, I'll be very happy. This is a picture of me failing my swift reform on the Black Knights and just angling a bit there. I was also kind of like boxed in by the dogs, so the dogs reform and the zombies move up just a little bit. This is just another angle of the action. During Magic, it's 5 dice of 4. I throw all 5 dice at Invocation to Heck. I will need to heal the ghouls up so they can stick around, and I roll like butt. So he was able to dispel it just handily. In fact, I think... Yeah, that cast, but he just dispelled it, no problem. I can't complain too much. He's had terrible Magic phases. In close combat, I have a charge and a flank. He has 3 ranks and a banner. I crumble by 2, but only by 1 because the BSB is nearby. So the Spirit Host is doing what it's doing, baby. It's going to hold them up. Very excited about that. I believe he reforms here to face me. We didn't end up moving the models, but I think that's what happened. The Terrorgeist screams into combat with the Knights because at this point I'm thinking to myself, and I took some time thinking about this, I don't want to kill the Eagle. If I can not kill the Eagle with the Scream and put it on the Knights, which are better, and I stay in combat, the Terrorgeist can't get shot. And it only has 1 wound left. Now, I know that's a really tough thing. Terrorgeist is probably going to kill him, but that's what I'm going for. We'll see what happens. The Terrorgeist Scream really does nothing, unfortunately. He has so many wounds on him, I just didn't roll that well. In the Terrorgeist combat, it was great for me. He didn't fail fear, and he held. I didn't do any wounds. He didn't do any wounds, and he holds. Or actually, look, there's 1 die on him. I must have done 1 wound. But he held, so now we're stuck in combat. I'm very happy with that. I'm not going to get shot. My Lord and his BSB go into a challenge. He has a 1-up rerollable armor save, which goes up to 5-up now with my strength, and he rolls 4 frickin' 5s to save. And I think it took something like the Red Fury attack from the 1 that landed, or maybe my horse to kill him. I think that might have been it. And I did kill the BSB in this round, but I couldn't believe it. Out of the first 5 attacks, he rolls 4 5s to save it. It was like unbelievable. It should be noted that he also is getting affected by the Night Shroud, so he wouldn't have had any strength bonuses anyway from whatever weapon. It wouldn't have mattered, really, but the Night Shroud in there is really helping out on the BSB. My BSB kills, I think, looks like just 1 there, and he sticks because he's steadfast. A little bit blurry, but an end-of-turn shot to see how the action's going. We're really right about to crash into each other. All right. High Elves, turn 4. His Phoenix goes into my BSB. And now, remember, they're not a unit now, so the Phoenix aura is only affecting the BSB, not the Vampire Lord. So that's pretty cool. And the BSB is giving Always Strike Last back because of the Night Shroud. And here's a blurry picture of my dog, because I don't really have a good picture for the Magic phase. So we go into Magic at 6 dice versus 3. He casts Hand of Glory on the Silverhelms, brilliantly trying to raise their initiative. And if he can get 2 off the D3, I don't get rerolls my Vampire Lord with Quick Blood. So I wouldn't normally get rerolls against them, but the Night Shroud is taking their rerolls away and putting them Always Strike Last, so I do. But if he raises their initiative to 7, then I wouldn't get them, which is brilliant. I have to let it go because I don't really care about it as much, and I think you roll fairly decently high. And he only raises it by 1, so it doesn't do anything. But it was worth a shot. It was a brilliant idea. Then he cast Juiced Up Walk Between Worlds on his sisters to move them back, and I failed to stop it. He used the book just to make it a bigger value, and I couldn't dispel it. During shooting, all the shooting goes on the Black Knights. The sisters, 2 repeater bolt throwers. When it's all said and done, I lose 5, so that's not too bad. And remember, he can't shoot my Terrorgeist because I'm lucky and I'm still locked in combat. I hope that continues. I'm very happy about how that's going. In combat with the Terrorgeist, it's a push again. No wounds dealt. It's awesome. I'm stuck there. I'm so happy. Over here, he turned to face me, so he pops the Spirit Host just on combat res, no charge, all that good stuff. So in this combat, I believe his champion challenge, and I had to accept with my Lord, because if I accepted with the BSB, my Lord wouldn't have had anyone to swing at. It's that really stupid stuff you get with challenges and positioning. Anyway, I accept my Lord pays him and gets a bunch of overkill. My BS, so now you have to remember that all of his guys, even his Phoenix, have to take a Beguile test, or I get to pick where the Beguile goes. And that's a total of -4. You have to reroll successful hits. So his Phoenix fails to land any wounds on my BSB with the rerolls, having to reroll successful hits. I think my BSB kills, looks like 2 total. Yeah, he kills 2. And so he has no BSB now. I win by 3 or 4, I think. And he needs a 5 to stick, and he rolls a 5 on both of them. No BSB around either. Rolls a 5 on both. I couldn't believe it. But there we go. So we're going to go another round of combat. So, Vampire turn 4. The Black Knights go flying into the Phoenix. I'm ready for this. The dogs move up. We go into Magic Phase. It's 8 dice to 5. He throws 4 dice at Hellish Vigor. I throw 4 dice at Hellish Vigor on everyone, the AoE version. It goes off. He wasn't able to stop it. I don't remember how many dice he threw at it, but it goes off. So everyone's rerolling their wounds. And the healing, I put the Pip on the Terrorgeist. Then I get Van Hels off, which brings back, I think, all but one of the Black Knights, which is awesome. And I get 1 wound healed from that on the Terrorgeist, and then the Lore Attribute also heals the Terrorgeist again. And then I get Van Hels off on the Black Knight so they can reroll their hits, and I put the heal back on the Terrorgeist from the Lore Attribute. So I don't even care that my Lord doesn't have a ward save, and it already has 1 wound on him. It's all on the Terrorgeist, baby. So it was a really successful Magic Phase for me. Very, very happy about that one. We go to shooting, and the newly freshly healed Terrorgeist, only 1 wound down, screams and gets 7 wounds on the Phoenix. Phoenix rolls, and he only has a 5-up ward save now, but he gets 3 of them. So it doesn't kill it. He only has 1 wound left. But I was like, holy crap, he made 3 5-ups. That's awesome. And once again, we kind of both talked about how kind of ridiculous it is the Terrorgeist can scream out of combats he's in, but I love it. So in close combat, my Lord goes first. Again, there's still 2 units, so the Phoenix is only affecting the BSB. And I'm getting the best, like, both of his units are affected by always strike last, so it's awesome working for me. My Lord, it looks like we only killed 2 between us. And I don't really remember why it was so low. It's probably because I'm on Strength 5 and he has a 2-up armor save. My BSB's on Strength 4 with the -1 to his Strength, and they have a 2-up armor save. I bet that's it. I expected more. I couldn't quite tell you. It must have just been the armor save that was saving him. But when it's all said and done, the Knights, they threw their attacks at the Phoenix. The Phoenix threw his attacks at the Knights. Only 2 Knights died, and I landed the last wound on the Phoenix. So it dies, and his 2 little guys stick around and roll a 5 to reform. It was unbelievable. He has 3... He needs a 5 on like these last 3 leadership rolls, and he gets it every time. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh man, but at least it's a fun combat. Now I'm starting to feel better about the game. Before this, when we were going this combat, when that Phoenix hit in, I was thinking, man, this game is over. I just gotten blown up, and I lost. Both my Terrorgeists were almost dead, but I caught a bunch of lucky streaks, and the Magic Phases have helped me out. The fact that Terrorgeist is still locked in combat is saving me. Over here, the Zombros made a really long charge. It was like 8 or 9, and they made it in, believe it or not, and killed the first Repeater Bolt Thrower. Then reformed. They're going to go after the second. Go Zombros. So we go to High Elves turn 5. His Phoenix Guard go into the Sacrificial Knights. Just go right up into them, and, that's fine. They're just a buffer now. That's all they can do. During Magic, it's 10 dice to 6, so now I've got to weather the High Elf Magic phase. He puts 2 dice on the Weapon Skill on the Phoenix Guard to Hand of Glory. I let that go. I'm only worried about Drain Magic here. That's all I don't want to get dispelled. I know it's coming, basically. He 2 dice Walk Between Worlds on the Sisters of Avalorn and gets Irresistible Force, rolls boxcars, and rolls a 3 for the miscast result. So that means his wizard's probably going to go in the warp. I'm very excited about this. But it also means it's a Strength 10 hit on everyone in base to base, which kills 4 Black Knights, puts a wound on him, and only kills 3 Phoenix Guard because their 4-up ward save is now a 3-up ward save. Oh, it's ridiculous. They're so invulnerable. It's crazy. So all said and done, we roll to see if he goes in the warp, and he does not. So it's remove dice from the power pool, but I'm thinking, okay, that's all right. He's not going to get drain magic. I roll it, and I roll a 1. So he still has 5 freaking dice left. I'm like, oh, this only hurt me. But what can you do? So he throws his last 5 dice at drain magic, re-rolls to make it higher, but doesn't get irresistible, and I get irresistible dispel on my 6 dice. So thankfully, the buffs are still up. I don't know how important they were, but they're still up. During shooting, his sisters, who had moved from Walk Between Worlds, just scooting a little bit, blow up the group of dogs. And the Phoenix Guard, some anvil, huh? I wouldn't call them an anvil. They're an anvil and a hammer. Those guys killed all but 1 of the Black Knights. I don't know why that says 3. Far more than 3 died there. So they kill the Black Knights. My 1 Black Knight can't get anything back, and I crumble. And they overrun, going into the Terrorgeist, and fall an inch short. Boom, baby. I think they needed an 8. They either needed a 9 and rolled an 8, or they needed an 8 and rolled a 7. They shot 1 inch short, which is awesome. Because now is the time to finish off the Eagle on his turn. I gotta kill it this turn, and then I gotta fly up and away and just get the hell out of there. And in close combat, that's exactly what we do. I guess I don't have an... I guess I don't have a nice little graphic for it, but finally I decide now's the time, and I land another wound on his eagle, but don't kill it, and it breaks, and I do not pursue. So you can see his eagle flying up there. No problem. Go away. I have other work to do. I don't even want to catch you. The reason why I didn't want to catch him is because even though I'm flyers, which I thought, oh, we'll just fly over them, that's not how it works. Like, I would actually hit and get my Terrorgeist in combat with those Phoenix Guards, so no pursuing for me. Let those points go. In close combat with the Lord and the BSB, I just wipe them both out, and the blue arrow shows which way I reform to face. So we're finally out of that combat. Vampire counts turn 5. Who would have thought I'd make it this far? I thought I was going to lose this one, but I'm still in it. So my Vampire Lord charges the sisters, and it was a long charge, but he decided to flee. I could have got it. I think it was like I needed a 9 or something. So, and with Swift Stride, I might have made it. So he decides to flee. So you can see my Vampire Lord in the lower left failed. I fly the Terrorgeist over so he can scream, and he's just in range. He's like within the inch in range to scream at them. And then I move my BSB far away, but turn so that I can shoot at them with Death Magic. During Magic, it's 10 dice to 6. I throw 4 dice at Van Hell's area of effect so I can move guys, position them the way I want. He dispels that with 3 dice, so that's okay. I throw 3 die at Gaze of Nagash on his archers, and he lets that go. He thinks about it for a while, and he eventually lets it go. And I get 6 wounds on them. They panic, go through the building, lose 1 dangerous terrain, and now they're probably going to be out. They're not off the board yet, but next turn if they don't rally. So Gaze of Nagash has the best range. I like that spell a lot. Matthew Reason, if you're listening, you're right about that spell. It was fantastic. So then I have 3 dice left. I throw 1 dice Invocation of Nahak just to try to heal the Terrorgeist and my Lord. And I get it. I get 10, 6 plus 4. So I get a max of 10. And he was able to dispel it with re-rolling 2 dice of his. And then finally, I've got 2 dice left, and I go for Juiced Up Spirit Leech for the range. I'm like, let's get some points for that Eagle. And I needed a big roll, failed to cast. So I expected that one. During shooting, the Terrorgeist screams and only melts 2 of the sisters. So he's still safe anyway. If they rally, they can't shoot because they're not, fast cav or whatever. So he's going to be safe. He'll just get to scream the rest of the game. During close combat, yeah, baby, the Zombros made it in, took a second repeater bolt thrower out. Go zombies. At this time, I think one of the die fell off where they had gotten shot. Those guys were up to 60 at one point, maybe 55 or something, but now they're back down to a respectable 47. All right. High Elves turn 6. Last time, what can they do? His archers start the turn by running off the board, and his sisters rally. The Phoenix Guard turn around to cast on the vampires, as you would expect. We go to Magic, and it's 4 dice to 3. He throws 2 die at Arcane Unforging on my BSB, and I get Irresistible Dispel, which takes all 3 dice. And then he throws... So basically, he tried to Arcane Unforge anything that would make me more survivable. He knows all I have on my guy is the armor save. And then he throws Soul Quench out and does 1 wound, and only 1 wound because of my armor save still there. So when it's all said and done, I got 1 wound on me. And there's no shooting to speak of because only the sisters can shoot, and they just rallied. So a final vampire picture for dramatic effect, move everyone up. Even though the Lord can't do anything, my BSB can't get close enough to give him the -1 leadership aura. The Terrorgeist screams and only does 3 wounds to them, does not trigger panic, and that's the end of movement. We go into shooting, and it's only 3 dice to 2. I try Gaze and Nagash on them, and he dispels it, and that's the and then it's shooting the scream with the Terrorgeist. So that's the game. Here's a picture of what the board looks like at the end. I have 4 units, 2 of which are characters, and he's got his big group, and he's got his eagle and his sisters. So we go to add up the points, and we get our little calculators because it kind of seems like it's close. Punch it up, and we've each scored 1,180 from each other. It's an exact tie. It's not even just a little bit of a tie. It's exactly point for point a tie. And then we look down, we're like, oh my god, we tied. It's unbelievable. And then I killed the BSB, 100 points. He did not kill my BSB. Yeah, baby. Squeaked out the win by 100 points exactly. Exactly what I needed to win the game. And let me tell you, my high elf opponent here, my buddy Ivor, he's really freaking good at this game, and I can never win against him. Oh, it's very hard. So I will take that 100-point win. I will take it all day long, baby. Oh, it was a fun game. It was a really fun game. I definitely thought I was out of it in the beginning. I was like, oh, you have to weather the shooting. It's so painful. I'm losing all my dudes and my chaff guys. Terror guys are getting blown up. But I got really lucky with a couple of key magic phases just to get enough wounds to heal my Terrorgeist. I got really lucky with positioning and sending my characters out. And even though the Silver Helms stuck around for frickin' ever, the Black Knights were able to sacrifice themselves. I was able to keep in contact with that eagle to keep my Terrorgeist up. It was just awesome. It just went great. We were having a good time by the end of the game. And you know what? Even though it's to win by killing his BSB is a little ridiculous, we tied, basically, when it's all said and done. We took the same amount of points from each other. I mean, it came down to him deciding to do Fiery Convocation on, like the zombies. Oh, that one didn't go off. It was him down with his shooting my dogs and me trying to shoot the eagle. I mean, it was point for point at the last, and that's a good game. Any game that goes this long and you can't tell who's going to win, that's fantastic. So yeah, I think it was a pretty fun game, pretty even. My High Elf buddy is officially done with the lore of High Elves, though. He doesn't think it gives enough punch to the Elves. It's a decent supplemental lore, but it doesn't have what the Elves need to win. He wants Occams, he wants all the debuffs from Shadow, and he wants the lore of Heavens. And I can't blame him. Those are fantastic lores. So thanks for watching, everyone.